my presentation out at MuseFuse, which I'm calling The Art of Self Absorption, or Eating It Too, which is short for, what good is my cake if I can't eat it? Some of you may know me from my recent escapade on the reality TV show Work of Art. I'm not really here to talk about the show. I think that we've already completely discussed the logic of having artists do time constraints or whether art criticism thrives. I am here because although it wasn't unexpected, I was cast as the older artist. I knew that. We all know that. But the unexpected outcome of that is that afterwards I found myself being, talked to like some sort of a role model, really like an inspiration. So you kind of get used to this idea that people are going to ask you a lot of questions. Of course, the question that everybody likes to ask is, so how was it being the older artist? Let me talk about that right to start with. Okay. I went to the audition to be cast as the fucking older artist, okay? I knew that they would need one. I watch reality TV. I figured I was perfect for that. I figured you can't be so successful. They want somebody that's had experience, I think, at least a little, I figured. But I was surprised that, look at the camera. As an older artist, they obviously wanted me to have experience, but if the younger artist didn't need to have any, right? That's what I found out when I got there, that some of them really had hardly ever even had a show outside of maybe being even in undergraduate school. So I went to the audition thinking, maybe naively, that if they chose me, that gave the show a certain kind of credibility. Because just like they're having Jerry Saltz on to add credibility for critics, I figured if they had me on, they were adding credibility for real artists. So I became a role model. I became an inspiration. But I want to straighten something out right now. I can't be a role model for success because I'm not successful, okay? I went on the show because I thought I could walk and chew gum. I'm a serious artist. I like reality TV competitions. So there you go. I would do it if they picked me. Now that's one of the great things, is that I was picked. I went to that audition completely enthusiastic about them choosing me. Then I had to do a bunch of stuff. The first step was to do a bio video. And so it's 5 minutes. You have 36 hours to do it. It has to include a piece of art, which they gave you 3 choices. I picked to incorporate a hammer. I recruited my daughter Meadow, Braun, to be my assistant, basically the director and producer. No, I was the producer. She was the director. She was the videographer. So the second great thing about being on the show is that I got to make this video that was the most fun 2 days I've had in a long time. So let me show you the video. It's also going to give you an idea of why I'm here tonight, to inspire you. Hi, welcome to my studio. My name is Judith Braun, previously known as Judith Wine Person. My married name was Judith Weinman, and I changed it to Wine Person. I'm going to take you on a quickie tour of my life, starting with my first studio. I love the way I'm holding the pencil so astutely and sitting so straight. And I especially like the little hammer in the corner because this is exactly me. I'm an artist and I can build anything. I was always an artist, even in the hippie days, carrying this conga drum around the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And that was before I left for the commune to garden and bake. But my peace and love train derailed when I literally ran pregnant from my abusive husband. And we were living in a Hare Krishna temple. Fast forward, I'm safe, baby's safe, back to school, without walls. They actually gave me a diploma for all of that life learning. But then, lucky me, 1978, I met and married a great new guy who sent me to grad school and built me a studio where I painted my alter ego. So with the angels out of the way, I could proceed to fulfill my wine persona with accessories like this lovely lapel pin and home decor. But it was these pussy pieces that put me on the map in 1988 when I showed them with group material. And onward through the ranks of the alternative spaces. White Columns, Art in General, Drawing Center. 1990, I had a solo show called Read My Pussy. 1994, The Bad Girls Show. But there's always a silver lining. It gave me a chance to write. For example, this little book of things that I'm just not sorry about. I am not sorry that I am all alone and have no one to clean up after. I am not sorry that I am not having any more sex that I don't want. What should I do? What is my calling? Can I do other things besides art? No! Faux finishing cannot be your life. You must return to art. What? Can I find a way back on the art train that took off without me through every MFA studio across this great country? Yes, I can. So, I rented out my living space, bought a hot plate, moved into my studio, and locked the door. Behind the closed doors of my laboratory, I discovered symmetrical procedures. 3 simple rules to make my drawings. Graphite or charcoal, these are carbon-based materials only. Abstraction, symmetry. With these simple rules, there are endless possibilities and therefore endless surprises. For example, starting with just this simple shape, I did all of these possibilities. These are 2 other examples of drawings that were built off of a similar theme. These are completely graphite on top of white paper, so the white form is really just the paper left. So I have to work very, very carefully. If I could use one word to describe what drives my work, it would be pleasure, because without pleasure, all we'd have is a bunch of stuff vibrating. So, magical elves, I hope you get some pleasure from the piece that I have done for this challenge. So I went from being an invisible woman. I have joked around that I'd have to go down the street naked with a bag on my head to get looked at. And I'm not exaggerating. Naked wouldn't be enough, okay? But I never was, like a looker. I wasn't one of those people that men all stared at coming down the street. It was kind of slow for me to realize that now that I was older, like, I really wasn't being looked at. But suddenly, I would have to tell you that, like, after being on the show, it's over, okay? I get looked at, I like it. I think it's fun. I don't feel like it's what my life is about, but it will say it changed my life. But you're not here to find out how my life changed. I think you're here to find out how your life is going to change. So I'm just going to say, I'm not here with a how-to. Basically, all I'm giving is just like a kind of permission slip. that if I open my big mouth, or if I laugh at myself, or if I laugh at you, or if I say fuck you, that's basically the message. Did you just say fuck you to your audience? I think you should explain that. There's a sort of fuck you-ness approach to aging. But I remember saying that when I was turning 40, and is different at my 40 fuck you was different than my 50 fuck you. And I will say that my 63 fuck you. I've really got my fuck you on now. And the more I say fuck you, the more friends I have on Facebook. Definitely not everybody likes it. I mean, because sometimes I really mean it. Like, I don't want to know about your dog, and I don't want to know about your kid. I'm not on Jerry's page anymore. But I'm not saying fuck you to Jerry, believe me. I love Jerry. Jerry and I are like this, okay? We're like this. I'm not even saying fuck you to Bravo. Even though I did tell Bravo right from the start that I was not interested in winning the show. I thought that too much cleavage on the show was like a drain for the integrity of Art and the TV show. This is nothing new for me. I broke up with most of my girlfriends 10 years ago. I realized for me that the girlfriend thing was becoming like, you know, I had gotten divorced once. I got divorced twice. I was married for 18 years, though, I want you to know. And then all of a sudden, like, I had girlfriends who were saying to me, I'm there for you, you know, and I couldn't say it. I'm not there for you. I wanted some boundaries. It's not trying to be alone and not have relationships. I'm all for what I call community building. It's crucial, life and death feeling, that I have not gotten absorbed into somebody else's life. That's their life. It's their little pool of life, you know. And my little pool of life, do I want to go and swim in other people's pools? I might if I'm invited. I don't want to like hang around your pool all day long, you know, and then start cleaning your pool too. That's like what I really don't want to do. I don't want to do any maintenance on anybody else's life. So my host, Karen Marston, requested that I cover. Part of my new career path is being a motivational speaker. But she wants to make sure that I think that I don't become self-indulgent, which of course I am totally. I want to indulge in myself, and hopefully not to the point where you will puke. But anyway, here's the subject. Karen brought this up. I think it's an interesting subject, so I'm willing to indulge her. The idea of the emerging artist, or the under-recognized artist. I think of myself as, let's talk about it. I don't know what I think. I don't like this term because it sounds a little like rigor mortis to me. There are basically nobody's ever been interested in them. So now we're going to see if we recognize them, right? They were under-recognized, therefore you don't know their names. They never made it into any soundbite you would have ever heard, and you've never seen their work. Maybe you saw it once upon a time in some show. They're under the recognition bar. The under-recognized seems to imply that they should have been more recognized. Under-recognized would mean that at the time that they were showing, that recognized critics didn't recognize those artists. Would you recognize them now if you saw them? You say no. First of all, nobody likes the word under. You want to be on top. It's like some people don't deserve to be recognized. But it's hard because, like, I went to a show recently called Women in Pop at the Brooklyn Museum. I was with a woman artist friend, and we were like asking each other beforehand, like, who's going to be in this show? Like, if we never heard of them, are we going to be able to look at these women in this show and see them suddenly as like they should have been? They really should have been recognized. People have to take an interest in you at the moment. Let's see if there's an analogy for it that's good. Here's my analogy for it. You're at a party and someone arrives at the party, and the first thing they do is start telling you about the trouble they were having on the trains coming. When they get there, there's an energy going on at the party. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, there was this train stall, whatever. Now, unless the train went off the fucking track and, 50 people were killed, I don't need to go back over the whole story of why they're late. We want to get to the party and join the party. Not by telling them what you were talking about at this other part of the conversation. Now, do you know why they call me crazy? That's the editing, okay? I edited it like that. Other terms that I would like to discuss. Yeah, the whole idea of old, like it's some kind of a bad thing. Everybody's born, that baby's just born, there's no choice, it's not like, well, I want to be a young baby. I rarely meet, really, if seriously, anybody that's older who wishes they were really younger. See, that's the funny thing. It's actually better and more interesting when you're older. Because look you get to make videos like this. Nobody can do it gracefully for you. It's the same as any other liberation. White people didn't think, oh, let's just get over slavery. I'd like to go pick cotton, On the same thing with whether it comes to women's voting or abortions or gay rights, People have to look for these rights first for themselves. And listen, I don't really like talking about it. You know what kvetching is? And there's nothing more boring listening to it. Even younger than me who are already kvetching and they're not even near my age and they're kvetching about age. Make a video about it here or there, but so shut up about it already. Okay, so I've claimed totally happy with my age. Are you with me? And now I want to claim crazy. So I'm the Crazy Crone. I mean, who in the world wants to be an artist and be said, oh yeah, she's a really interesting person. She's just so not wacky. So for me, crazy couldn't have been better, So you probably saw my video that I did recently called I Am One Crazy Crone. I'm going to show this video now. Good morning. It's December 22nd, 2010, and it's my 63rd birthday. And this video is for myself, for you, to celebrate with me. This past year, I was on the reality TV show, Work of Art. Of course, was cast as the older artist, which I expected. I didn't know I was being cast also as the crazy older woman. So crazy and older, actually I find them both to be quite honorable identities. So here's my gift to Bravo, to my friends, and to myself. Here goes. I remember when I lost my mind.